When was your "oh that's why she's single" moment? So I hooked up with this French chick who spoke decent English. We were just having pillow talk and I asked what her goals were. She told me she's looking to marry a millionaire/billionaire and she had no other goals or ambitions, and I was like, oh. She asked me to take her out to dinner and I was no. It was more of a "oh that's why you are divorced" moment. On the first date every word out of her mouth was about how shitty life was and how everyone around her was an idiot. One that popped out at the top of my mind: 1. Planning our first long weekend getaway together. I suggested a city and bought plane tickets and asked her to make logistical plans for hotels, etc. We decided on a budget. She took my whole weekend budget and booked a hotel that was per night the whole weekend budget. The numbers are pretty large, so this wasn't a mistake. She knew what she was doing since each meal was also planned, reservations at all kinds of Michelin star places. 2. She told me she was divorced and no kids. Turns out she was divorced with 3 kids but didn't tell me until after we slept together a few times. 3. She trained her dog to piss and shit on the floor of her only shower. Made fun of a handicapped person. Also, her personality was partying and talking shit behind other people's backs. She had in her words, darkness, like a black hole, inside her. Admitted she deserved to be alone. She was always between relationships yet never committed to it or stopped herself from fucking other guys while with someone. One could argue if she was bouncing between relationships she was rarely single, but in reality she always acted like she was. Single mom who's absolutely obsessed with Briggs-Myers tests and zodiac signs on Tinder. To the point where she treated it as universal truth. Apparently Gemini is not a popular sign with women, as I have learned. As a woman who's had some relationship problems, this thread is making me feel a lot better. I had a lot of these moments in my younger years, but now in my 30s I more often have "how are you in a relationship" moments. She was a devout Christian that held traditional beliefs about the gender roles for men, but believed in feminist ideology for women. She started her day, every day, with a beer and a joint. We were walking down the street, when we suddenly had to change the side of the road. A guy who looked like he was in his 50s was the only one there. He just got out of his car and she clearly wanted to get by unnoticed. Later we came across a guy chilling in front of a donor shop. She jumped into his arms, exchanged a few words with him, then started making out with him. She had stories of about 6 psycho exes since she moved to that city 2 years ago. She was 22 and already a complete train wreck, angry, drunk, addicted, and with a burning hatred for every man she thought did not acknowledge her like she thought she deserved to. Turns every conversation back to herself and doesn't give space to others to express themselves. Doesn't show curiosity about who other people are. When she was drunk at 3 p.m. on Tuesday and Thursday and basically any time we hung out. Fun to ride, but can only stand being around a drunk for a really short amount of time, especially if I'm stone sober and it's the middle of the fucking day with no occasion to be midday wasted every day. She couldn't understand why anyone would have sex more than once a month. A girl complained constantly about not having friends. Then she took me to reenact her teen rape in the forest. I realized she met new people just to do the reenactment, once or twice a month. I was over at my ex-wife's house for one of my daughter's birthday parties. We are divorced after nearly 20 years together and have both remarried. My wife and I were there. My ex's husband fed their new dog some ice cream, and my ex lost her shit. "What the fuck are you doing?" After he pooped all over the floor last night. LOL. Why would you say fuck but then not say shit in that context? But anyways. She just yelled at him for like 1 to 2 minutes. In front of our kids and my wife. In that moment, I just remembered all the times she harangued me over innocuous shit through the years. One especially low point was being bitched out in a crowded public place in front of my parents. Eventually, I had enough and left the marriage. But in that moment, when she was yelling at her husband, I was just thinking, she hasn't learned a thing. Now, she's separated again, headed for a second divorce. This girl I had been seeing from Bumble last year had me realize this. She was very pretty and there was never really a dull moment between us. One night we were texting and I knocked out, I forgot what made me so tired that day, and we agreed to video chat. She called me and said, "Why didn't you call me?" She wasn't upset, she was furious. I said sorry, I knocked out 'cause I was tired, and she gave me the cold shoulder the whole night. She then rambled on how she deserved much better when I took a while to respond, because I worked and didn't want to get in trouble with my boss. Major bullet dodged. When she told me all white people are born fascist, and all men are born rapists. One time we were in a Sonic parking lot and we saw a guy she knew. Asked how she knew him and her response was, "I don't really know him, I just gave him a blowjob in this parking lot." Then she started talking about all the sexual encounters with other guys she had. That's when it hit me, she had literally gone through every guy in Millbrook, Alabama. I was from Montgomery, so I just figured she had moved on to guys in a different city. She was pretty hot, but that ruined it for me. I don't tend to dwell on that too much. A more useful question is, if that's why she's single, then why am I single? Was rude to the waiter. Anyone who is rude to wait staff and retail workers you should run from. I have a hard time understanding why you'd be rude to staff or retail workers. Being nice to them just makes their day so much better and might help you out too. I was very drunk and went home with a kindergarten teacher. Just about to finish and she rips the condom off and shoves me back in. I finished up, not inside, and left. She didn't know why I was leaving. I might be smashed, but I know that was fucked up. Cousin later told me she was baby crazy. NVR been happier to be infertile. Didn't believe our relationship could be healthy unless we had fights every month. Not disagreements, full-blown screaming, saying nasty shit fights. 3 kids by 3 different guys. Asked if I wanted to be fourth. When she wanted me to download LIFE 360 as a prerequisite in our first date and wanted to have every social media profile of mine, nope thank you. She is in a mental health institute for a year. This happened 7 years ago at high school. Her mom committed her to the institute for aggressive OCD. Went extremely cold and bitchy. If you dared to disagree with her, all men are trash, and other related views. I shouldn't have to shave to get a man's attention, and other related views. While true, if you defy certain attractiveness conventions, you risk being seen as not attractive. Wanted to get high/drunk every day. Extremely clingy. Punishes you with silence if you do something wrong, etc. She has multiple sugar daddies. The 5th time she lied to my face. 1st and 2nd were money related, 3rd was about her mother, 4th was about friends, and the 5th was about her ex, who's my friend. First moment was with 19, she outed herself as extreme vegan yet lacked the intelligence that fish is also an animal. Imagine the scene in Scott Pilgrim. Second girl was weirder, she was still into her ex, only wanted to date guys that either have the same name, had the same face, or smelled the same. She never got over the fact that he only used her to cheat on his wife. Third girl was creepy, she was masochistic. Not in sense of bondage and such things, no. She wanted to get punched by her boyfriend. I only talked to her for 10 minutes, thought she was just trying to scare me, but nope, a friend told me it was real. Another was the nicest girl in the world but would have a panic attack midway through any sexual encounter she had. Start bawling and shit. Something fucked her bad because she really was great in almost every way. I knew a guy who'd been thrown across a room midway through sex. The girl had been molested repeatedly as a child. She was very apologetic later and said she thought she'd worked through her trauma. Very sad, really. Was a stay-at-home mom who also got a cleaner come in twice a month. Wanted a guy who valued what she brought to the relationship. As a single dad managing work and kids, I felt it insulting. There have been several of these moments, women I've dated, or friends have, but a couple of highlights are, 1. Dated a girl during the summer between grade 12 and first year university who was way too clingy. There were many red flags, but the reddest flag was when I figured out she enrolled in the same school I was going to because I was going to it. Cute, right? This was less than 2 weeks after our first date. I figured it out about a month later, which was the last straw and led to our breakup. 2. My friend was with a typical men are useless type as described by many other commenters in this thread. She aspired to be a stay-at-home girlfriend, she didn't want to get married, have kids, or have a career. She even admitted she was a horrible cook and barely cleaned her apartment. This girl literally wanted to sit at home and have my friend buy her shit. 3. I met a girl on Tinder who I ended up going on a date with. A few minutes in she asked why I was on Tinder, which seemed like a legitimate question, so I answered because I'd like to meet someone. She argued that she thought all any guy on Tinder wanted was sex. Sure, who doesn't want to get laid? But that wasn't all I was looking for. I explained that like most people I used to only be interested in dating apps/sites for sex, but I had reached the point where I wanted more. I thought she had accepted my response, but she accused me of only wanting to get in her pants at least 5 to 6 more times during the date. If that's all she thought I wanted, and wasn't interested in it, why even meet me in person? Needless to say, there wasn't a second date. I am a metalhead and gothic and really liked the goth women style. But I had never a lasting relationship with a goth woman. Upon deeper reflection, I realized that most of the ones I met had serious problems, one extremely cute, very intelligent and fun, but had bonding problems. On our 10th date or so, she broke down in tears and confessed that she loved me but had anxiety to develop this further and broke up. 2. Also nice, cute, and psychology student, would make dates but never show up. 3. Total crazy who basically thought everybody was beneath her. Ended up dating normal women due to Theas. I am happily married now, but sometimes I miss a wife who shares my enthusiasm for festivals and strange clothing. I had a lady say at our first date that we couldn't possibly work as a couple, because apparently as soon as I told her my birthday, she knew my astral map was all wrong. Also, it apparently was a shame, because she supposedly thought I was a nice, worthy man. She's had the clap so many times that it's like applause at this point. She would get drunk and get violent and belligerent for 12 hours straight. Start partying at 6 and she would be a straight psychopath until the next morning or longer. Punching windows, arguing with people and not listening. Calling everyone a liar, smashing people's stuff, not taking no for an answer. She was physically pretty big, and would violently grab people and shake them. Sober she could be very sweet. She heard voices. I said, "Is it your voice or someone else's?" She paused long enough for me to realize she was waiting for that voice to tell her what to say. Don't expect me to magic up conversation. Proceeds to not talk for a week. Hi, insert random emojis. She owned her own business and she just chose not to go to work for 4 days straight so that she could party. And it wasn't an out-of-the-blue occurrence. Or her blowing off steam after months of hard work. She did it often. Went on a few dates with a girl who was insanely hot. Had cartoonish proportions, and it took me a few times worth of hanging out to see past that. We were at a fancy desert place and overheard some cooks on break in back speaking Spanish. She went on a racist diatribe about how you need to speak American if you're in America. We then went on a walk and she picked apart and criticized aspects of every person she saw on the walk. Then we went back to my place for sexy times and she said she wished I was more of a bad boy since she really liked my dick. I was an amateur Muay Thai boxer, so I figured out that bad boy means narcissistic psycho. It took a few more instances like what I described before I got the idea that this is how she is. And I stopped contacting her when she said she had stopped taking birth control before the last time we were together and didn't tell me. I didn't want to get familial with a crazy person yet. When she blamed me for her cutting herself and threatening to report to my boss that I failed to report her self-destructive behavior. Her standards for men are so high and she compares her anime crushes to her real-life crushes. She's on her 30s. When she got mad that I didn't cancel plans with my friends so that I could take her on our second date, she picked the day. I originally said I could but remembered that I had made plans with my friends. I said I couldn't and offered to reschedule for the next day or that weekend. She proceeded to blow up my phone for hours about how much I sucked. I'm a woman, but I'd like to answer because the moment was so crazy. He was an attractive guy, he was super cool and we liked each other. The moment I realized why he was single was when he bragged to me about pulling his pants down and shitting out of the window of a moving car as a prank. Not only did he do this, he was proud enough to tell me about it. Hell nah, most dudes would be too terrified of being rejected by you to admit that. She thought deep dish was better than New York pizza. This thread makes me feel so good about myself, a little sad for all the crazy people, but mostly good feels about not being a train-wrecky basket case of a man. Thanks, thread. The last woman I had a huge crush on, she was obsessed with another man. A gay man. A gay man who was already in a long-term relationship, and lived with his boyfriend. A gay man who had to tell her on several occasions that he wasn't her boyfriend, and never would be. She denied she had feelings for him, but she was the worst liar. Not only did I know it, everyone else around her could see it as well. She was in love with him, and couldn't let it go. She also said she didn't date, meaning she wouldn't date anyone but this gay guy given the opportunity.